the issue of uncertainty that you mentioned wouldn't have been the case. In any case, today we were told by noon the judgment will be out, either to continue or to stop the convention. But whatever the case, the uncertainty certainly is not good for the party, because we have so many people who ordinarily would have been on their way or here in Abuja for the convention. But right now they are elsewhere waiting to hear the conclusion or the verdict of the court. In any case, to answer your question on the issue of defection, I am a member of the PDP, and we will continue to work together with my colleagues in the party. That's where we are. And on the issue of the birthday, I thank you very much. And how time flies, I remember 30 years ago, I was Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps, and at that time I was just over 30. Now I'm already 65. So we thank Almighty God for sparing my life, for the good health, and of course for the modest achievements that we had in various capacities that I found myself in the last 30 years. And let me also say that celebrating birthdays is not really in our culture here, but when it started some years back, I realized that there is a lot that can be done in terms of initiating projects and programs that my foundation, together with my friends, can do for humanity, not only in Kano State, but across the country. I'm sure you are aware that in the last few days, we commissioned 2 blocks of classrooms in Nasarawa State, in Kari local government, to support education in that part of the country. And in Kano, we built a sanatorium for the young men and women who found themselves in drugs, and also built a mosque for one of the towns that we have in my local government. And we had also a colloquium which was attended by so many friends, brothers and sisters across the country. But before the last year, we were able to establish a school on my farm in Kano State, in one of the remote areas of the state. And the school was mainly for the children of the Fulani who settled on the farm. And I was surprised that when we opened the school, children of school age on the farm and around the farm, first admission we had over 300 children of school age that were admitted. And my thinking then was that if nomadic education has been working in the country, many of the issues that we have today in terms of herders and farmers' clashes wouldn't have been the case. And I'm so happy that we are doing this on a yearly basis. And I believe that's the main reason why we are celebrating the birthday. So every year, like now, we are beginning to look around and see what can be done for the humanity before next year.
Right. Yes, you've had quite a storied career, Senator, from the reference you just made now to your time as Deputy Speaker. You've been Minister for Defense, you've been Governor of Kwara State, and of course the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm sure we want to go into your career a little more later. But I have another question for you about PDP. Do you feel that the current wrangling, whatever the outcome of the court may be later on today, has weakened the party and its capacity to take power from the ruling party, APC, realistically? Because you'll recall, well, you know better than anybody, what the APC coalition had going for it against the incumbent party then, PDP, was its unity.
Well, it's absolutely right that in 2014 we joined forces together to wrestle power, believing that there would be a positive change in the country. And that has been done successfully. But along the line, some issues cropped up. And as you rightly pointed out, some of us who were in the coalition, in the APC then, decided that we should return to our party and see what can be done in the party. And I'm so happy that that was done. And one of the primary reasons why I decided to come back to PDP was the local issue in Kano, which we thought the main issues at that time, even the issue that we had in the party then, had to do with the what was happening in the state. And we decided to bring change, positive change in Kano State at that particular time. And we have successfully done that. Everybody knows it in this country. But for whatever reason, the powers that be at that particular time decided that the government had to continue. And we, in the PDP at that time, and of course Kwankwaso, decided that we shouldn't do anything that would create unnecessary insecurity in the state and by extension the country. And I'm happy to say that our group, our party, is well prepared to take over government in Kano State. And things being equal, we are also working within the PDP family across the country, preparing for 2023. Of course, there are issues in the party today, and I believe that head or tail, at the end of the day, that is after the convention, whenever it comes, either this weekend or any other time, the party should be able to put its acts together to form a formidable team that can wrestle power from the APC at all levels.
I just want to ask you this, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. What's your relationship now with the governor of Kano State, Governor Ganduje?
Well, on personal ground, there is just no issue. But on the issue of governance, certainly we are not satisfied with what the government is doing. And probably that was even the genesis of the negative relationship that started immediately he was elected. There are certain things that they are doing which does not conform with our belief, does not conform with our ideology. Take, for example, the issue of debt. In Kwankwaso, we don't believe in borrowing except when it is extremely, extremely necessary. And I'm happy to say that when I was governor in 1999 to 2003, I did not borrow one single kobo or naira from anybody, both local and international. And on the contrary, we paid every naira that was being borrowed by my predecessors at that particular time. So also when I went back in 11. In 2011, we met a lot of debt, especially that the ones that were borrowed just before we went in, at least $200 million from the World Bank on some issues like malaria or mosquito and so on. We asked our commissioners to go and follow due process with the World Bank and other organizations. And before we left, we settled every naira. We paid 100%. And of course, all what we did in Kano, in terms of projects, programs, and so on and so forth, especially in the educational sector, the 2 universities were established, hundreds of towns and villages that were able to put rural electrification, the flyovers, the underpasses, dualization of roads, street lights, drainages, health care, and especially in education. We were feeding our children every working day in our schools. We are giving them 2 sets of uniform. Anytime we are admitting our students, we sent over 2,650 young men and women across 14 countries of the world. We sent our children to the private universities, Al-Kalam University in Katsina, we sent 412. We sent our children to Ignedium University, about 300, Bells University, about 250, even the Crescent University, 200, Abti University, 25, and so on and so forth. We selected 4 universities, 3 of them the federal universities, Maiduguri, Ahmadu Bello University, Sokoto University, and so on. We built 300 bed capacity hostels free of charge for them, just to admit our students from Kano. So, and we built 2 universities, Kano University of Science and Technology. We built Northwest University. We established 26 institutes, manpower and training institutes in Kano, and so many other things. And all that we did with our resources that we had from IGR and whatever was allocated to us from Abuja. So we don't believe in borrowing anything from anybody. And for the 2 times, 2003 and 2015 that I left the government, there was no one single debt for Kano State, 0. And I can tell you, earlier this year, our investigation shows that Kano State is indebted to about 185 billion naira. And that is not acceptable in our own arrangement. Some of the projects that were being claimed to have been done were projects, in our opinion, that were not necessary. You don't borrow money to go and start building things that are not necessary now, as far as our movement is concerned. So there are many other issues that really is not in conformity with what we believe. And in any case, we are so happy that we are out of APC in 2019, and we have shown our capacity, because everybody knows that we won that election in Kano State. There is no question about it. And what follows now is history. And we are so happy that 2023 is around the corner now, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, Senator, it's good you refer to Kwankwaso, which is the political movement under which you play politics, particularly in Kano State. But there are some people who are very critical of Kwankwaso. They say it's nothing more than a political cult rather than a movement. Now, you know, what exactly is Kwankwaso? What's the philosophy behind it? And, you know, where is the state of Kwankwaso now that in Kano State, the incumbent governor does not want to hear the word Kwankwaso?
Thank you very much, Ruben. The issue of Kwankwaso, as far as Kano State government is concerned, they are part of us. But because of some of these differences, ideological differences, that's why maybe we are not working together with them now. But they all know what Kwankwaso has done for them. And let me say that Kwankwaso is not just in Kano. Kwankwaso is all over the country and even beyond. And I'm happy to say that, Ruben, even in your house, if you check, maybe you find some members of your either family or extended family, either your driver or your security man or your cook or somebody even in the house is a member of